Okay.
I'll call the meeting to order and welcome everybody. First item on the agenda is to consider approving the minutes of the meeting for June 10th.
I make the motion that we move the minutes, meeting held June 10th, and sign the disbursement warrants.
Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor? Next is to discuss and decide on the cost increase to IT service for the police department.
Mike Roy had contacted me the first part of May, explaining that they were gonna be doing a substantial increase in our price for the IT service. Obviously, the costs are going up, and they're trying to come up with what they felt a fair pricing structure for the three communities that utilize that. The three communities are Oakland, Waterville, and Winslow. And so, before, the way they did it was basically on a per hour basis. If they sent somebody over to work on it, we paid an hourly fee on it. The way that it's set up now, it's going to be structured on a per computer basis. So they've taken all the computers from Waterville, Winslow, and Oakland, and they separated them out and they broke it down into percentages. And so if you calculated all three communities with computers, you're at 100%, and Oakland's got 13 computers on their system, which broke down to 7% on their fixed costs, and it was 5% on the labor and the other costs. If you look on this page right here, it's a breakdown. This number. I have called around and to find out what other options were available, and I do have a meeting set up with Mike Smith, and it's going to be the end of next week. I talked to them later this afternoon, where we're going to sit down and find out what Somerset Dispatch can offer us for dispatch services, and they do provide an IMC service. I talked with Josh Rennie and asked him if he could supply me any information, and I provided the email that he returned to me,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that most of you got a chance to read it. And basically, to summarize it, he states that he was envious of the system, of the service that we get from Waterville, and he himself and Fairfield's been trying to get involved in that, but for various reasons they haven't been able to. And he's certainly not real happy with his IT service going through Somerset. He called it spotty at best. He actually utilizes Josh Grant, who's the IT, the guy that runs the department over there, on his off hours to come in and work for them. The other thing that we have to go and think about here is we have fiber optics that connect the city of Waterville with the town of Oakland. And we've got that fiber optics that runs into our police department, into the patrol room. There's nights after 2 o'clock in the morning, you have a police officer alone, and he may have somebody under arrest. And with that fiber optics is a camera system, and so their dispatch is able to watch what's going on, so it provides an element of safety. The other thing that we have to consider is the fact that the school system is connected to that fiber optics. And so it's like having an onboard security team up there. Anything going on, their dispatch is able to go and see that. If we end up disconnecting and pulling the plug from the city of Waterville, there's a more likely chance than not that we're going to lose these services. Right now, the way our system is set up with the town office between Trio, our computer system, and the IT service that we end up having here, the total cost comes to about $14,000 annually. That's what we're paying out of the town office. With this new system here, the police department's going to be paying $10,300 for their IT service, and then I believe it's another $4,000 for IMC, correct?
Well, that's for our software,
Yeah, for the software.
which we get at a discounted rate because it's housed at Waterville on their servers.
Right, and that's the other thing, is
So-
we're sharing equipment with Waterville. So, I know that 62% is a high jump in cost. And certainly, when I saw it, it took the wind out of my sails. But what research I've done on it, I'm finding that it may not be as far out of place as what I first thought it might be. I've got Chief Tracy, who could possibly provide more additional information on that.
Well, I can tell you that our IMC, which is our software, our operating system, that we do everything through, which would be your Trio, I guess is what you have here. That is on fiber optics as well. It is housed in Waterville on their servers, and if we were to leave Waterville, we would spend more than what we're spending here just in servers. And plus, our IMC would get at a reduced rate because we go through Waterville and our connection is through the fiber optics on that, so. Going to Somerset would be not even close.
So, did you say when using something here in the town office that's connected with Waterville, it's not just the police department?
No.
Well, the fiber optics connects the town office, the library, the
remember when
schools,
you-
the fire department, and the police department with
I
Waterville's.
remember when you had
and
it put in years
Winslow's.
ago, and I didn't remember just where it went.
It was a big grant that we did mutually. We all worked together, wrote a grant, federal grant, and that's how we got the fiber optic connections. It
I
was
remember
a
it
month
wasn't
long.
too expensive at the time, but.
Well, it cost a lot of money, but it was a grant.
Yes,
so
but I mean, what we
didn't
had
cost
today
us
was
a lot
only
of
a
money.
couple, $3,000 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is what gives us our speed. That also allows Waterville to, when they dispatch us, they have our IMC there as well as we have it here, and they enter the call in while we're at the call. And then we just have to update it, and that's not a possibility if you were to go elsewhere. So, I mean, it's all interactive, and to be honest with you, we're getting a pretty darn good deal even at these new rates. We wouldn't be able to match that anywhere and anyway.
I would, go ahead, Joe.
The other thing was, I forgot to go and mention, was that Mike understands that this is short notice. And what he's willing to do, he's offered to phase this in over a 2-year period. So basically, we're looking at a total of about a $4,000 annual increase over what we have been paying. So this upcoming season, we're gonna be paying $2,000, and then it'll be the additional $2,000 for the year after. So we won't be seeing the 62% increase this year. We're actually gonna see about half of that, and next year it'll be the full 62%.
On the second page of the thing you gave us here, Gary, list a whole bunch of services here provided to Winslow and Oakland. Now, have we provided all those services by Waterville?
We are. That's all coming from
Okay,
Waterville.
I thought, you know, we hadn't talked about this much for quite a while. I thought
Yeah.
they just did the police department for us. I didn't realize the town office was,
Oh, no, they do just the police department.
Right.
All
They don't-
these services are for the police department.
oh, okay,
Yes.
all right.
That's not
Yeah.
for the town office.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes more sense. Okay. So they don't do those services for the whole town of
No.
Oakland, they do them for the police department.
they would, but it would be at
More money.
Winslow's rate.
Yeah,
rather
because
than
it'd be
ours.
on a per computer basis. That's how they broke this cost down.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is Winslow's increase
Well,
roughly?
They went up to 50.
I don't know what they were paying prior. I don't have those figures, but I do know that they're gonna be paying $56,185.
I guess my question relates to, what if Winslow backs out and says we can find service cheaper
Mhm.
because they've got so much, they might be able to go with somebody else at a cheaper, what would that do to our costs?
Well, my
And I guess part
guess,
of, that's the second part. Have you spoken to the people at Winslow, and are they,
no.
I have.
Going to
I
accept this.
spoke with the police chief in Winslow, and frankly, he's shocked that they get it for the price they get it for.
That they did what, Mike?
That they're getting it for what they're getting
even
it
at
for.
$56,000?
Yeah, it's still a bargain if you're talking about hiring an IT person on your own, just one.
I just hate to go
And
into
doing
this and
everything
all
that
of a
they're doing.
sudden Winslow
Yeah.
pulls out and it's a whole new.
No,
Well,
from
if
what
you
I
look-
understand, Winslow's pretty happy with what they have.
The last sentence that Josh sent me, he's interested in still coming on board with this.
Yeah.
And he wants to know, you know, I'm gonna talk with Mike further about this, and you know, if that would saturate the system a little bit more and bring our percentage down. And, especially if it's figured out on a per computer cost. And if we increase another computer over at the police department, our cost or percentage would change.
But we know we're not gonna add any more computers, so.
Any deadwood over there, it's gonna go out the window, right?
No, we'll replace what we have, but we're at what we need, so.
Even if you were to look outside for somebody to do your computer work, that's a small part of what you're getting from,
It is,
from water, right?
it
That's-
is.
I mean, if we
And
found.
they're the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Rand is the best. You ask anyone, he's good. He knows what he's doing. And IMC in particular is very complicated. And that's what we have in Winslow and Waterville and Fairfield. We all have that same system. And he's an expert on it, and it takes some doing to be an expert on it.
This
It's a
fiber
huge-
optics actually connects our three towns, you know, as far as the police cruisers. You could be working in a police cruiser and have direct contact with Winslow's car. You know, so we're all connected together, whereas we're not connected with Fairfield.
Right.
Fairfield's on a different system, even though it's IMC, we're just not connected to them through
What does this do to our budget?
well, it impacts it by $2,000 that we didn't budget at.
2,000 unbudgeted this year.
On budget this year, and, you know,
That's
that's,
what following year.
we're gonna have to change it by 4,000 next year.
I mean, it sounds like a huge percentage, 62%, but when you're talking
$4,000.
$3,000 or $4,000, it isn't that much money, it's just a big percentage.
Yeah.
Anything else?
If you gentlemen are okay with this, I'd like to get a vote on it so we can get it locked in.
You would like to have a motion that we continue going through Waterville with this IT, is that what you're gonna call it?
Yep.
IT service?
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you, man. Chief, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
And that's everything in the business, then we got the manager's report.
you've got a copy of the current municipal valuations from First Park. We've showed an increase this year and in value, approximately $9 million, and it brought our commitment for First Park up $304.08. Overall, they've had an increase in most of the municipalities throughout their group. Any questions, comments on that?
I got two of these, is there any difference in them? I couldn't seem to see any, is there a difference in these two
No,
sheets?
I actually gave you 2 sheets.
Okay, I was trying to find the difference between these two,
Well, I figured out the system on that printer where I can staple it through the machine, so sometimes I'll hit 2 and I hit staple and it'll just keep right on going.
okay.
So, you got a spare, just in case you
So-
lost the first
So
one.
then if I read this right, we're gonna have to pay $304 more
Than we did last year.
than we did last year.
Right. I mean, some of the towns went down, but the majority of them went up.
Let's see.
One of them actually went down almost $2,000.
Yeah. And this is, do they use the valuation from the state, the same one that the school uses, I wonder?
That's correct.
But it's current, correct?
That's correct. We've got 2014s and 2015s here.
What do we anticipate the revenues from?
I don't have those figures with me. I can get those for you if you'd like me to.
Just curious as to, will those theoretically go up a little bit? Or they still
Well,
go
if the
down?
total value went up, they will go up, they will go up a little bit.
Anything else?
I've got the May report from the Oakland Public Library. Jean ended up participating in Kiwanis Children's Health, Fair and Safety, and there's a picture of them there with a couple of the neighboring libraries. They ended up going to New Hampshire for a program. On the back page, Reboot Your Library website. Sarah and Jean went down for that. They both said that they had a great time. There was a lot of information there, and they brought back a lot to the library. The next thing on my agenda is to report the transfer station critical incident that took place on 6/14, it was last Sunday, and the Sunday before last. It happened about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Jim McFadden was running the heavy front end loader, and he was on the apron loading trash into the tractor trailer body when he ran over a black garbage bag, and a cloud of smoke came out of the bag, and it kind of enveloped the machine. Jim was having an issue breathing. They ended up calling 911. John Thomas did an outstanding job up there. He did exactly what he should have done. They got him out of the machine, got the machine out, they shut the transfer station down, brought the garbage truck down at the gate so that they could let the public throw the trash in that. Department of Environmental Protection was contacted. They had the hazmat team up there. They found out that it was a gallon jug of muriatic acid, which is used to treat pH in your swimming pools. And so it probably came from household trash by the sounds of it. It was on a Sunday, so it had to. Jim ended up being transported to Inland Hospital. He was checked out. He was given a clean bill of health. He's back on duty. He really didn't lose any time over this. We did do an incident report on it. We got that all documented, and everybody who needed to be contacted was contacted. And, so it was kind of a situation where a resident had thrown something in the garbage that they shouldn't have, because it's hazardous material, and we do have a date designated for that in October, and it caused an injury, basically. And, we did contact the newspaper. I did want to get something in the paper about this, just for an educational purpose as much as anything, and he got the story, and it never went anywhere, so.
I had a couple of questions, one of them you answered, I didn't know what that was used for, but it's
Well,
swimming pool
actually,
acid, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what the primary purpose of it is that's where you see it in most homes. I know I used to have it. It doesn't go by muriatic acid, it goes by another brand name when you buy it at the pool places, but that's what it contains. Some commercial places will use it for a clean cement, and it's got a purpose as far as that goes too.
Before you paint it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, it cleans it up. But, and they use it for a multitude of different things, but the primary reason why we would have it in our house if we had a swimming pool would be to treat the pH.
It doesn't have to combine with anything to make this cloud of smoke, just be
Well,
put out in the air,
I
or?
think what happened was the pressure from the loader exploded in the gallon. If you dump it on the ground, you don't get that.
Oh, I see.
But I think probably what happened was that, it's just the heat from the bang, and, it turned into a gas, and, and it came up around the loader.
Quickly.
Yeah, quickly. And I think, any type of acid, if you've been around it or anything, it does have a strong odor to it.
Yeah.
And I think probably that's pretty much what he ended up breathing in.
Waterville had some kind of an incident right in the back of their garbage truck a few years ago, and I don't remember what they said that was, but it sounds like a similar thing. They had a cloud of smoke come out,
And it
and some
I
of the
don't know if
guys
Yeah,
kind of burned their eyes and throat or something.
yeah. The fire and rescue team ended up going up there, and they dug through it. They did find it, and there was nothing else in there. And the thing is, so much had been moved around because they used the machine to go and spread things out so they could dissipate anything that might have been left there until they found out what it was. By that time, it was impossible to dig through the trash to find out who possibly might have brought it. Not that we would have had any charges or anything for them, but at least we could have contacted them and had a conversation with them about it. But we weren't able to determine that. Any questions or thoughts on that? The next thing on my agenda is to advise the summer council meeting schedule. Dawn had asked me to put something together on the agenda, and as it sets right now, our next one's going to be on July 14th. Then we have a schedule of 8, 12, August 12th, and if needed, August 26th.
Because it's if needed.
Yeah, if needed.
And that one on the 14th is a Tuesday,
It's
right?
on a Tuesday night.
And the 8/12 is Wednesday.
Yep, that's on a Wednesday. And the 26th will also be on a Wednesday. And then after that, what I provided the council is a copy of map that we've generated for Saturday the 25th for Fest. And just to let you know where we stood on that, things are certainly moving forward at a rapid rate. The group that we got together is doing an outstanding job. We have 3 good days planned, and I think everybody knows what the schedule is. And all the big pieces are all put together. We're just working right now on fine tuning a lot of the little things, a lot of the little details and volunteers and stuff like that. If there's any one of you that have any family members or friends that would like to jump on board and help us out, we're looking for a lot of help on Sunday at this point, and that's a triathlon. Talked with Kelly Monday night, and she's looking to get anywhere between 30 and 40 people. And we've got some accumulated now. Summit Gas is, they've given us 4 people, 2 for Friday night, 2 for Sunday. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually have a training session or a safety meeting on July 19th at the firehouse, probably on the back lawn if the weather's right, just to go over traffic and just common sense stuff. We're gonna hand out high visibility t-shirts for any of the people that's gonna do volunteering and do a briefing room. We've got, the high school has generated 15 people for Saturday, the open air market. It's pretty much gonna be a parking staff that's gonna be utilized for parking. And Friday night, we're pretty close to being full as far as people that we need, but Sunday is the big gap right now. And I think I've generated about 10 people today on it. So if anybody knows of anybody that would like to help, we could certainly use an extra set of hands. And it'll be a fun time. It's only gonna be a half a day on Sunday. It should start around 7:30 in the morning, and we should be all tied up by noontime. And a lot of it's gonna be transitional work, meaning that we're gonna be helping transition people from boats to bikes and from bikes to running, and being around to hand out water and snacks and keep people pumped up, and it should be a good time. Just to kind of give you a little overview of what you're looking at on the map that I provided you, Section A, which is over on the right-hand side, is going to be the children's section. And we've got various children's booths. We generated a key for this last night, but we haven't got it all on a good-looking system yet. We're just kind of putting it all together. Section B will be your art vendors and crafts people, and we've got a lot of our local businesses from town that are going to be setting up little booths there. Section C is going to be the food section, and we've got 9 vendors that are lined up for that. Actually, Section C is going to be the food section. We're gonna have a table for that. We've got an area right next to that, Section D, and that's gonna be antique tractors. We have a car rally that's coming in, and they actually like to be called, instead of a car rally now, or antique cars, cars of interest. And that's gonna be happening all day. People will be driving in and driving out. We have a stage that's gonna be right there by the Williams School, where we're gonna have ongoing music starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's gonna be going through until 5 o'clock at night. I knew that we had an employee in the town that could really sing, but I actually had a chance to listen to her back a few Sundays ago, or Saturdays ago, Christine Stoney, and she's a part-time police officer for the town of Oakland. And she sang with Up With People, and it's unbelievable. So I've sat and talked with her, and she's actually gonna be the opening act at 10 o'clock, starting out with God Bless America, and she's gonna take it there for about a half an hour. And she's gonna do that in uniform, which is gonna be kinda neat. And so it ought to be a good time, and if you don't have plans on Saturday or Friday or Sunday, please come down and visit and have some fun, because this is gonna be something that's gonna happen every year from now on. And this is gonna put Oakland back in the limelight again, or help, in other words.
So where you're looking mostly for parking, Gary?
Most of our parking is not located here. The majority of our parking is gonna be up at the high school. We're gonna utilize all the parking spaces up there, and from there, we actually have been meeting with the school department, and we've got a bus that's going to be running all the time, And so we're gonna have pickup and drop-off points, and one of the pickup and drop-offs is right here. You can see it down here at the entrance to the Williams School. So the bus is gonna be running from the high school parking lots down to fire station number 2. That's gonna be another pickup and drop-off, because we're gonna utilize the parking up in Atwood and all that area too. So we're just gonna ask people to walk down Heath Street to that spot, and they'll be picked up there, and the bus will be dropping off and picking up. And so that's gonna be running the entire time that we have from 10 to 5. School department's working with us on that. They're gonna charge us, no charge for the bus, but we are gonna pay for labor for the bus driver,
Yeah.
and, which is more than fair.
Oh, yeah.
We're on board with it. We had to put a little bit of money into the power pole, which the Lions Club all utilized. It had deteriorated, it hadn't been used for so many years. We've got $95 involved in that. The school department split that with us also, and they paid for CMP to go and energize the pole, and they put the labor to rebuild that for us. So we're up, and that way, because that's critical on that power pole there. We've got a lot of donations from different businesses, and basically this thing is paid for by larger businesses throughout Oakland. And the goal is to make this sustainable, self-sustainable, so that it generates enough income annually to pay for itself, because the last thing we wanna do is be knocking on people's doors to go and ask for money forever. And that's how we're trying to establish this thing, and obviously, when you're a startup here, it's gonna be a little bit harder to accomplish that than it will in the future years. And who knows where this is gonna go. I mean, everything is gonna be critical on the weather this year. I can tell you right now, the word's out there. If you go on the internet and type in Oakfest Oakland, Maine, you're gonna find page after page of stuff that's all about us. We've got 250 signs that have been printed, and within the next week or so, you're gonna see those scattered all over the area. And every major route that comes into town is gonna have them coming and going. We're gonna go and try to get them in Waterville and Fairfield. And, you know, it's just, we're gonna make sure that people are aware this thing's happening. And, but if it rains, it's gonna be a little disturbing, because everybody's got a lot of time involved into this. And, so that's pretty much what I got going on now.
We know you're good, but you can't control that.
No, I don't know about that.
Two
But
questions.
I'll tell you what, everybody else is really